What's up, duelists? Today I'm recording the tail end of the YRS51 Tengu Plant Tournament. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket here. I'm going to catch the end of this game, Indicud versus Mr. Maple. Then the winner of Grudog versus Pello is going to play against Jaina, and then the winner of that is going to play against the winner of this match here, Indicud versus Maple. Right now we've got Game 3. Maxi was resolved, drew quite a few cards for Mr. Maple there, I believe. How many cards did it draw? I think he should have used it there a little bit earlier. Maybe he missed a draw. Let me see here. It was 5 from the Gen X summon, right? So yeah, I think he might have missed it on the first Shine Ball activation. I'm not really sure what's happening here. It's Game 3. I'm just doing some quick commentary stuff before we get into a fresh match in this tournament. A few days ago, I threw an IRL event, IRL Edison Summit event. If you guys watched that event, thank you. It was a lot of fun. The full VOD is up on my channel. There are a lot of things I want to do a little bit differently moving forward for those types of events, and there are a lot of things that I think worked out really well. So I'm always curious to hear your guys' feedback, especially on that live stuff. It's very different. How interesting. So it looks like Mr. Maple is playing Karakuri. You see the Komachi MDL 224 Ninishi being summoned here alongside Cyber Dragon. I believe this is a full combo, as long as he has another monster normal summon. But I don't know if a full combo can really do anything through whatever the hell this is. Gachi Gantetsu. In any case, yeah, there was an IRL event a few days ago. Full VODs on the channel. And then I've got a lot more stuff coming up this month. We've got RBET at the end of the month. We've got, more IRL duels coming up. We got a lot of exciting stuff. I'm working on some more IRL deck profiles as well with a new setup. Going to be able to do some full-on awesome things. Okay, so extra normal summons getting used on Ninishi. Indicud is at 7,000. This could spell his doom. This could actually be really bad for him. Now he drops max. Well, I guess if he drops max before the synchro, does Mr. Maple just pass? Or he runs over the Venus? That must mean that Indicud's hand's actually really weak because he waited. That must mean that his hand's actually really bad. That's a bit of a tell. Because you would max before the synchro if you had plays. But because Indicud must have a weak hand, he has to wait for the synchro to guarantee that he gets a fresh draw. This is also gonna, do a good job of time walking the opponent, unless Mr. Maple wants to keep going into this Max C, maybe try to find an OTK. Agents is one of the hardest decks to find an OTK once they've resolved Max C, because they have 3 Veiler, 3 Herald, and, of course, Honest, double Trag. Interesting. I played a lot during this format in paper, but I haven't played since then that much. Looks like Mr. Maple's going to take the challenge. He's going to go in defense. I wonder what the reason is for going in defense. Yes, so you switch it with his effect. And then when this monster has changed battle positions, you get a draw card. Interesting. That's pretty good. This is Game 3. Indicud has potential Cyber Dragons of his own. He has potential System Down. So he has a lot of very powerful haymakers he could draw into. And if Mr. Maple doesn't do something about this board, I mean, he's just given Indicud 2 fresh draws off the max C towards finding one of those haymakers. Also, this board isn't really safe. You just summon a Christia and it breaks it, or you summon a Hyperion and it breaks it. So if Mr. Maple doesn't find like a second copy of Solemn Warning or a Solemn Judgment, he's actually kind of fucked, which is crazy. If I'm Mr. Maple and I have max C, I'm dropping it in the draw phase every single time. This is not where you want to be. I also don't really know how I feel about the use of this beret. He didn't summon the Karakuri from his deck. He just used it as a draw one. I feel like you could have maybe not made this if that was your plan. Yeah, maybe not made this. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just my opinion, though. Because you give your opponent an extra draw. Interesting. Interesting big tank from Indicud here. I like this matchup. I think this is a fun matchup. This is one of the more fun matchups in this format. I think most of the matchups in this format are really bad, mostly because of this card right here. People are like, oh, Max C keeps the format fair. Not really. Not really, because if you don't draw Max C and your opponent does, like, and they have a combo and you don't, it's like you can never even come back. So it leads to a lot more shutout games than it does to actually leads to comeback games. There's also not a lot of like comeback cards in the format. So you get a lot of shutout games where your opponent will have like, I don't know, just like 2 synchros, a Solemn Warning, and a Max C in hand. And the game just ends. So I don't really like that, of course. Tribute set. There's the Cyber Dragon. This is kind of exactly what we were talking about. This is going to use up normal summon from Indicud. This is actually, I think, catastrophic misplay using the Torrential here. I think you should not use the Torrential here. Because if Indicud has any sort of follow-up, he can just summon it. He could also just pass, yeah. Maybe he wants to hold the Hyperion, but I think passing is a little dangerous. If Mr. Maple has something like a Fossil Dyna, could be bad. This is a tough one. I mean, we can pretty much guarantee that Indicud either sided out his 3rd Shine Ball or has it in hand. So he has 4 real cards that he's working with. There's the Dark Hole. Here's a Pot of Duality. That means nothing serious is happening this turn. Pot of Duality is interesting in this format because it's like a setup card that I don't think is particularly great past turn 1. Like this is kind of mid now because it's like, oh no, you can't special summon. He's got the Gen X Neutron, so this looks like pure Karakuri. This doesn't look like any sort of like KMP or anything. This guy's interesting. During the end phase, you get to search for a machine type tuner. 2 Nanishis are gone, but there's got to be a 3rd in the deck. Can also search, I believe there's a 4-star tuner. It's the Tiger. There's the Trag we were talking about. And that's why Indicud was careful, or not careful, what is it? Comfortable, there we go. Comfortable passing. I like it. Smashing Ground, going to remove the Tragodia. We didn't know about the Smashing Ground, but that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one here. Smashing Ground's actually really solid in this format. There's a lot of really annoying threats that just kind of stick around. Like Scrap Dragon, Christia, that kind of stuff. Just want to get it out of the way before you can like start putting up a board, or at least try to put up a board. Really awkward for Indicud. He only has 3 fairies. He does have lights and darks in the Chimera Tech and Trag. He could drop a Chaos Monster if he really wants to. But at the same time, like, to what avail, right? Like, You just special summon BLS, you deal 42, and then what? Force your opponent to have something? I think you know about a Dark Hole, right? Or did he take Quick? I don't remember if he took Quick or a Dark Hole off Pot of Duality. There's the Hyperion. Interesting. Wonder if he's going to banish the Shine Ball to attack over, or just attack over the Gen X. Okay, this is actually big. This is actually big, because Levier could be big damage here. Or Levier. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that shit. Doesn't get Sanguine. Interesting. I wonder what the reason is behind not getting Sanguine. I wonder if this fairy deck is playing Dark Armed. If it's playing Dark Armed, you could summon it here. It'd be kind of crazy. I feel like Dark Armed is actually not that bad in the fairy deck, because you got lots of ways to make darks. Pops the Gen X Neutron, goes ahead and makes, I'm assuming Levier, because it's the most damage. It also gets you more fairies in play. You could go Levier, bring back the Venus special the last Shine Ball, and special summon Chaos Sorcerer, perhaps. That's just game. How much damage is this? Looks like he must have sided out the last Shine Ball. Either that or he has Herald in hand with the Shine Ball. That's why he's preserving it. Interesting, he attacks with Levier first, representing Honest. He should attack with the Sorcerer last, right? Damn. Crazy game. Indicud goes ahead and steals it. He had Thunder King. Oh, that's crazy. But he elected to summon Gen X Neutron. I feel like I would have summoned Thunder King for sure on the last turn, just because your opponent passed with 5 in hand. And you also don't have to play into drag. You can just summon Thunder King and pass. Thunder King will guaranteedly trade with, like, Hyperion. Now that Gachi's off the table, like, any of this other stuff is not really gonna work together. But that was that for that game. We're still waiting on the winner of Grudog versus Pello to play against Jaina Ego. This can be a chill video, you know? Just covering this with solo commentary. Nice, relaxing, dueling book video to study to, or whatever. Lo-fi, hip-hop beats. It's gonna be fun. Where's this other match we're waiting on? Ooh, Karpath's playing. I think he's playing a tournament round, but I'm not invested. Let's see. Let me search Pello. That's not his dueling book name, so either that or they're not playing. Let's watch Karpath's. I think he's in the tournament as well. What's he got going on? Oh, it looks like he's playing Tech Gen as Psychics. This deck is ridiculous, to say the least. Looks like Karpath already got a game as well. Opponent is playing Pure Chaos. Zekaram. I think they're in losers right now. Yeah, Karpath versus Zekaram. This is losers bracket. Karpath can now make some sort of, I'm not sure, synchro if he wants to. Leeching the Light. Oh, wow. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. This could be an OTK. Unless Zekaram has, like, Mirror Force or something. Yeah, this could just be game. Because that's 1400 here. Wow, he does have the Honest. That's pretty big. That's pretty big, actually. That's a big damage swing. Now, Karpath down to 400. He has to be really, really careful what he does here. One thing Karpath could have done differently was What did he do? How did he psychic jumper? What did he psychic jumper for? I'm not really even sure. But I think he psychic jumpered. And that got Veilered? Yeah, it got Veilered, yeah. Okay. Interesting. Dialk's gonna add back whatever was banished. I kind of missed that. This could make Catastrophe, but it's a little awkward because there's a Cyber Dragon in play. So you have to make Chimera Tech. You could also make Wonder Magician in defense, pop the back row, but then any monster kills him. And he knows he has a monster because he just added one back from a banish. So he makes Hyper Librarian. Looks like Maxi is also active. That's not good. Pot of Avarice pretty big. 2 new draws. Unfortunately for Karpath, I mean, like, even if he draws Solemn Warning, he's already at 400, so there's not really much he can get here. Scapegoat is gone. Dark Hole is gone. So he's just kind of praging that his opponent has nothing in a 6-card hand, which is just cap. Here's Caius. All right, looks like we're going to go to game 3. Karpath on Tech Genis, Psychic Synchro, and Zakaram on Pure Chaos. Really cool matchup, actually. I think the Psychic deck is really good if you don't get Max Seed, but if you get Max Seed, it's like pretty bad. I think they nerfed a lot of the stuff from the previous formats. I think Mindmaster is banned in Tengu Plant, if I remember correctly. So there isn't a way you can deck out your opponent through Maxi, unfortunately. So Maxi is just fucking insane against the deck. Indicud's waiting on this side. Jaina's waiting on this side for the one of these guys. Karpath is moving forward in loser's bracket. We've got some other exciting people in loser's bracket. This is a cool event. These types of YRS tournaments, they happen pretty frequently in the Format Library Discord. If you guys want to take place in them, go ahead and join the Format Library Discord in the description below. They do tournaments for all the different past Yu-Gi-Oh formats. Karpath going to go first. Big thonk here. Big thonk. What's he thonking about? That's the real question. What is the thonk here regards to? Sets a monster. That's it? Just sets a monster? That could be both the Psychic Witch or the 2100 Psychic guy, whose name I don't remember. Karpath is going to Veiler a Dimensional Alchemist. I don't agree with this play. I don't agree with that play at all. The only reason you would do something like that is if you need the Veiler in the graveyard. Or you just want to guaranteedly attack over the Dialk on your next turn with, like, Rhino. Yeah. And now Karpath's going to get punished because the Dark Monster's going to get banished and Dialk's going to be live anyway. I don't like that play. I think it's quite bad. You hold the Veiler for the Chaos Monsters for sure. That's what screws you. Your game plan in this matchup is going to be most likely, unless Karpath has a Chaos Monster of his own. I could see that maybe working out for him. Maybe. I don't know. He searches the Striker, which means he wants to go for a Synchro play, or he wants to try and bait the back row with a Tech Genis Wonder Magician. He might have a second Werewolf, so we could see something like that. I legit think that, like, you wouldn't Veiler here unless you had a reason to outside of that, because that's a pretty bad Veiler. In these matchups, you want to save your Veiler for the Chaos Monsters, or for Caius. Your game plan is usually to summon a Synchro, or 2, through Maxi. Now this is interesting. Gonna warning the Card Trooper. Okay, so I don't agree with this warning. I actually think this warning is quite bad. Because Karpath is baiting. Card Trooper is a bait. He's definitely representing a Chaos Monster of some kind. Now it's possible Karpath's not even playing the Chaos Monsters. Wow. Okay, yeah. Just to pass is pretty bad. Just to pass is pretty bad. And now that Veiler is looking real stupid. If I'm gonna be real. I would have saved that for sure. Knowing when to hand trap people is a large part of this format, but at the same time, it's just like, you just save it for the high impact shit. I mean, it's not that hard. It's not like current format where there's like 18 different choke points in a combo and you have to know which hand trap works best at each point in time. There's the Fossil Dyna that we were mentioning in the last match a little bit. And this is going to be just really, really difficult for Karpath to come back from. Karpath should be taking 500 more. Yeah, he should be taking 1,800 total. Yep. There we go. Life points are fixed. So, yeah, I mean, he has to run over the Dyna. This can at least crash with it, but, you know, you're in a bad spot here. Side blocker, kind of weird. Weird inclusion for sure without... Oh, this is interesting. So he's going to go E-Telly in the battle phase? No. No, that's not what he's doing. What is this? What is this? Psychic Wizard, maybe? This looks like a very value-oriented Psychic deck. Yeah, it's just going to go for the Witch. Witch to run over the Dialk. The side blocker is going to prevent the Alchemist from adding back the Sangan, but there's no conversion for the Witch because there's already been a monster normaled. Karpath needs another E-Telly in order to synchro off with this and get the value. No. Yeah, Witch is going to get banished end phase from E-Telly. This just looks messy. That whole turn looked really messy. It was a 2-for-2 trade, but like, you also lost the Veiler to the Dialk. And, you know, you're just down a card now. And you don't have your Veiler. So, I think you could have just kept the Veiler for sure. Especially if you're just going to search Striker and not Rush Rhino. And not have a way to run over the Alchemist through Solemn Warning or whatever. Tour Guide gets normaled. Special summons out another Tour Guide. This is pretty big. I mean, Levier can bring back Sangan. And now the advantage is hugely in Zakarm's favor. Like, just massively in Zakarm's favor. Could have even brought back the Silent Psychic Witch, lol. Here's BLS. Gonna go for a game shot. Dang, and Karpath goes down. And that Effect Veiler, using the Effect Veiler on that Dialk fucking mattered. He could have Veilered the Levier and then would have survived at 4,800. But it looks like he had Monster Reborn for Dyna as well. So it didn't really matter. This Chaos deck is very good. This Psychic deck looks like it needs some work. Alright, let's see if they're further along in the bracket. Grudog is still playing against Pello. What is his name on Dueling Book? Is it Grudog? No, what is their name? Let me check the Discord real quick to see if I can find their name. If they're not playing, then like, where are they? DB Grudog. Take this moment to smash like, subscribe. Okay, we found it. This is them. This is their match. This is the match we're waiting on. Looks like Pello is down a game. And Grudog is up a game. Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind, Battle Fader banished. Likely Chaos. Likely Chaos. And then, of course, we've got whatever Ideath is playing. These players are playing unbearably slow. If I was judging this event, I would issue a slow play warning. There we go. There's a set. Because this is game 1? And this has been going on since we watched the whole Indicud match and the whole Karpath match. So, yeah, definitely would. I wonder if this is Blackwings, actually. That'd be interesting. Blackwings isn't actually that bad in these later formats. You get access to Zephyros, and you get access to like Solemn Warning and Duality and cards for Black Feathers. So you actually have a pretty consistent deck. You can play even like as little as 3 lights for your BLS, as little as the 3 Veilers. Max C, pretty good in Black Wings. You could also play Thunder King and have like a Chaos Black Wings deck with a very light Blackwing engine. Black Whirlwind is still an insane card, even as far into 2012. This is big damage. I think iDeath is screwed. I think this game might be pretty much over. Thunder King, 2 back row. It's hard to play through that. It's really hard to play through that. I wonder if Pelo's thinking about synchro summoning here. I wouldn't, just because why would you want to? One of the things that could get iDeath out of this situation is something like a Tour Guide and a Mind Control. Wow. He is going to synchro summon Blackwing Armor Master. Why? I guess I don't know why you would do this. Thunder King is better in play than Armor Master in every sense, unless you fear specifically Mind Control. Armor Master is not good in play in this format. I mean, every deck and their mother can make fucking Trishula. So, I don't get this. Here's a Typhoon. Gonna try to pick off a back row. It's not even like this would turn on an Icarus attack, because your Icarus attack was already live with Gale in play. Typhoon hits Debunk, an interesting card that I don't think is very good. There's Dark Hole. Alright, this does get Armor Master into the graveyard for... Wow, what a slew of power spells. Dark Hole Monster Reborn. He said, give me your best card. That might even be the Armor Master. That's pretty funny. He could also take Thunder King, keep his opponent off BLS. See if there's a Bottomless Trap Hole here or a Torrential. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Why is Debunk in your deck? That's a real question. What are you so scared of that you want Debunk for? These typical Gale, Thunder King, Chaos decks, you don't give a shit about Maxi or Veiler. Okay, Vanity's Fiend getting summoned before the attack. I don't like this sequencing. I think you attack with Thunder King Ryo first, for sure. And then you consider summoning the Vanity's Fiend in main phase 2. Because now what are you going to do? You're going to attack into Mirror Force? Is that what's going to happen? No Mirror Force. Okay. I don't know if Mirror Force is played that much in this format, actually. I know post-board, some people side D-Prisons. Like Agent side D-Prison, for sure. But this is a big Vanity's Fiend. I mean, that's going to be curtains. Unless Pelo can find something here. That might just be the whole game. I actually don't think that the Chaos decks have a ton of outs to a resolved Vanity's Fiend. It's like just Dark Hole, Honest. There's Effect Veiler. Maybe this is a creature swap? It's Honest. It's Honest. Okay, so he's going to 2-for-1 himself. Lose the Veiler and the Honest. But that's great. I mean, if you're iDeath, like, you take that trade, right? You might even stop this. You might even book this. If you warning this Veiler, I mean, puts you a little low. And then you have to worry about any other light monster with Honest killing you. But if you don't warning this, you're holding your warning for the next play, which is also kind of sus. I think you just don't warning this. If your back row is warning, you don't do it. Because you get the Veiler and the Honest for your Vanity's Fiend, which is a good trade. Okay, enemy controller. Going to switch that to defense. I wonder if this is something like Monarchs. Because you got Vanity's Fiend, enemy controller. Like a Treeborn Frog deck. It could also be Tengu Plant. Because I know Tengu Plant plays enemy controller. Because you can tribute your Reborn Tengu, and it's like a free brain control. It's like a themed brain control almost. Also, it can work well with Tour Guide from the Underworld. Or Tour Guide of the Underworld. Whatever the fuck that card is called, you know. The vibes. My voice is a little off today. I went and sang karaoke with Cameron Saunders. And then I also streamed for 9 hours during the summit event, so my voice is a little bit lost. Okay, looks like it is Frog Monarch. Interesting. I feel like you're going a little low at 3,500 and then having an attack position dupe frog. But having the dupe frog in play does make it so that your opponent can't just light monster honest over the Vanity's Fiend. But they can just hold up the honest on the opponent's turn, and then there's this whole, you get what I'm saying. There's the dark hole. Power begets power, right? Dupe Frog's going to search for either Swap Frog or Treeborn. Substitute is long banned at this point. Nowhere near Pot of Avarice being live. This could be curtains straight up. If the back row is like a Typhoon or something, Typhoon the back row, and then that also makes this debunk make a lot more sense. Debunk can banish Treeborn Frog. Here's the monster Reborn. So Dark Hole Reborn from both players. Reborn going to bring back the Armor Master, which is big. It also makes a little bit more sense why he would Synchro earlier on, because Thunder King's not negating much from the Monarch deck. Here's the Honest we knew about, and this is lethal damage unless Ideath has something. Looks like he does for the Armor Master. Yep, another enemy controller. But you know, he's in a bad spot. He doesn't have a Treeborn coming back. He doesn't have a way to burst out a Monarch. There's a back row he's got to worry about. There's an Armor Master he can't really get through. 2 enemy controllers are gone. Maybe he could figure something out with a third enemy controller, a lethal game shot. If he goes Swap Frog, send Ronin Totem, bring back Ronin, and then enemy controller sack Ronin, take the Armor Master, that would be game. But that's the only thing I could really think of here. He could also just honestly Swap Frog into Ronin and make Gachi Gachi and be okay for a little while. But that could run right into a Solemn Warning and just the end of the game, more or less. I feel like if there was a warning, it would have got played at some point, you know? This is kind of an interesting sort of matchup, because it looks like something that you'd see in Edison, but just with different fucking staple cards. There's a Ronin. Okay. Oh, man. DD Crow is huge here. That's really big. Hand traps, name of the game. They just fuck up decks like this. As soon as you have the right hand traps, a lot of these strategies kind of struggle. Also loads up the grave. That's going to be a third dark if the Armor Master ever dies. Forced to just pass, leaving the Swap Frog in play. But that's still game, right? It's just 1,500 over the Swap Frog. Honest Direct is game. Unless there's a Battle Fader. Or Trag, I guess. So we'll see the Swap Frog tacked over. Puts Pillow to 900 and then Honest Direct. Oh, he's going to activate Tragodia here. Okay. That's another breath of life. Honest can't attack over that. It's 1,200. Honest back to the hand. Sets another back row. But this is actually a dangerous spot. If Ideath has a level 7 monster, I mean, that's just game. Unfortunately, there's not that many level 7s that the Frog deck plays. That I can think of, at least. Big moment of thinking. Big moment of thinking. Crazy bracket so far. Crazy bracket. Indicud waiting for the winner of this match and the winner of Jaina versus the winner of this match as well. I hope you guys like this kind of video. It's really chill. Oh, and there's the Solemn. That's tough. That's tough. That's going to be the game, I think. Unless Ideath has specifically Battle Fader, I mean, that's just it. We're going to go to Game 3, I believe. This Monarch deck, a little too normal summon reliant, a little too weak to the post-board configurations of these decks. And gonna have to rethink his strategy in the sideboard portions. I don't think cards like Vanity's Fiend are good enough in metagames where Chaos is the standard. Why can't I click on anything? Oh, it's because they went to siding. Yep. Game 3 time. Game 3. That debunk actually makes a lot more sense now that we know he's on Frog Monarchs. Chaos decks, they don't care about hand traps so much, but the graveyard effects they do kind of care about. And there are a fair bit of those in this format. There's like Tengu, there's Sangin, there's Dandelion, there's all sorts of like Glow Up Bulb, Spore, Treeborn Frog, of course. So there's lots of little guys in the graveyard that do things you might want to negate and banish. It's kind of like a really shitty DD Crow, but it also randomly negates like recruiter effects and stuff, and it can do stuff in the damage step, which is pretty cool, and it can stop Honest, which is pretty cool. Very few things can actually stop Honest, so having something that like just lets you play through potential hand traps, potential graveyard effects is nice. Sets monster and passes. I mean, that's what the Frog deck does, really, is it's pretty slow until you get your advantage engine rolling. The issue is that, like, in post-board situations, do you keep in Max C against the Chaos deck? Do you keep in Effect Failure? Kind of have to, but then you have to have your back row removal, and then you also have to have your Monarchs and ways to force through your Monarchs. So it's kind of like this huge thing, whereas, like, from the perspective of Ptolemy or Pello here, it's just like, you just have to fucking summon a Fossil Dyna and you just win. Like, you only need one thing to beat the opponent, whereas the other person needs, like, so many diverse threat responses that they can dilute their strategy quite a bit from the actual, like, frog strategy or whatever. And it's a very fragile strategy, too. Like, you saw DD Crow. You saw, what's that other card? What is that other card? DD Crow, you saw Debunk. Those could both just, like, solo win a game. Without Substitute, it's actually quite difficult to get multiple Treeborn Frogs in the grave. It takes at least 2 turns of setup. Ptolemy thinking for a good fucking 6 years before making a play, Kappa. But that's cool. You know, it's fine. We got time. We're doing a long video today. Capturing the YRS 43. Fucking shit, man. If you guys like the Summit video, I want to do more of them. I have a few ideas for, like, different stuff. I showcased a couple different games. I don't think people liked that as much as I did. But I like doing other game content, too. Maybe we'll do some old format Pokemon, old format Magic, that kind of stuff. Sounds really fun, to be honest. Sounds really, really fun. I might actually be doing some stuff with Rare Hunter here in the future as well. Like near future, like next few days on his channel. So I'll make sure and hook you guys up with the link to that as soon as it's done here. Okay, Spirit Reaper gets summoned, attacks, knocks a tour guide out, but Trigodi gets specialed. Spirit Reaper is one of those cards in this format that's like better than it is in other formats because people don't play a lot of outs to it. However, against the Chaos deck, I feel like you just kind of have to bring it in because it's a way you can maybe piece together a tribute summon through DD Crow, through Debunk, that kind of things. Like a slow tribute summon. And just survive for a turn. The Chaos deck can like randomly kill you. It's like a really jank Battle Fader, kind of. Big damage, 2,700 is actually a ton. Now that means just like one BLS push at an awkward moment could be game. That's one of the worst parts about this format, I think, is that you take a little bit of damage and then all of a sudden you have to play defensively the whole game because of fucking Blacklister Soldier. There's the Deep Prison getting Typhooned. Deep Prison, definitely an odd one to have in against Monarchs, but it does answer Vanity's Fiend, so not the worst card you could have, but not the best either. Treeborn Frog getting sacked for Caius, and now this is where we start to see the Monarch deck shine. There's no Effect Veiler, and even if there was, the Tragodia would be weakened. Spear Reaper's going to take yet another card. Pello could have a Battle Fader here. I feel like if you do, you just have to use it. You don't want to take this damage, and you also don't want to lose a card to Spear Reaper. It's like, is it better to lose your 0/0 vanilla than it is to lose potentially the best card in your hand? Oh, he doesn't have a Battle Fader. He's going to use Crow before the Spear Reaper resolves. Damn, that's going to be tough. I think Pello's actually in a really bad spot now. This Spear Reaper's put in a ton of work. Said you're going to play defensively against my Monarch deck. I'm going to poke you every turn. This is actually giving me some ideas for Edison. I kind of want to try Spear Reaper in my Monarch deck now in Edison. Oh my gosh, he hit Chaos Sorcerer. One of the best cards you could hit here. That's the payoff. Also, not only is it a payoff, but it's not a light. So you don't turn on further Chaos Monsters. One of the best things you could hit with Spirit Reaper here, for sure. For sure. Big damage. Ptolemy needs to, like, fucking put something together. Or Ptolemaeus, or Pello, or however you want to say his name. Main phase 2. Does Ideath have a back row? Potentially an enemy controller for defense. Could see that. Or Threatening Roar or something like that. Pitch Treeborn, special swap. I wonder if Treeborn's at 3 in this format. Swap can send Ronin here. And Ideath could legit make Gachi Gachi and just be like, how are you ever winning? I guess Dark Hole's pretty good. You could bounce Caius and just leave your 2 monsters. Yep, there's the bounce on the Caius and just leaves the 2 monsters, yeah. Doesn't want to play into a 3rd Crow and make Gachi Gachi. I might have considered making Gachi Gachi there. Because, like, nothing's outing that or Spirit Reaper. And then you can just sack one of them for the Caius next turn and go for game. Whereas this is complicated now. This is complicated. Now you're going to take 1,000 for 2,400 total. And then if there is a debunk, well, I guess both Treeborn and Ronin Totem make it so that 1 debunk isn't enough. So I guess you're fine. I don't know if he thought it through that far, but I probably would have made Gachi Gachi and just said fuck the Treeborn. Like, you don't need it at this point. But yeah, you're pretty down bad here if you're Ptolemaeus. You need something like a Solemn Warning. That would be pretty good. But your opponent's going to have 4 cards in hand. Here's a Treeborn. That's going to resolve. Maybe an Effect Veiler. I don't know. I think you're just dead here if the Caius resolves. Because Caius plus Ronin is only 25, I guess. Never mind. One thing that could be good here is also... Dang. That's tough. That's tough. And now Warning is off the table. So if you top deck Warning, it's a total dead draw. That's pretty gross. That Spirit Reaper put in so much work. That was kind of a crazy Spirit Reaper. I'm not going to lie. That's actually fucking awesome. I might steal this tech for Edison. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. I guess in Edison, like... No, yeah, I might steal that tech. That's actually just fucking sick. It makes a lot of sense. You don't have Ronin Totem, I guess, but... I don't know how Ronin Totem would make the Spirit Reaper any better or worse. Okay. Here's the Cyber Dragon, Light and Dark, Blackluster Soldier. Is that game? Oh my goodness. Did he just sack him? I'd be so mad. If he doesn't have Battle Fader, I would be so fucking mad. He could have summoned Ronin Totem, too, to play around this. Okay, he has Battle Fader. Okay. I was going to say, like, you could easily play around BLS by just having Ronin Totem in play. But looks like he had Battle Fader regardless. That was a tricky situation, very dangerous. Like, if he had top-decked Fossil Dyna, you would have gotten very, very punished for not summoning Ronin Totem there. I think. Oh, man. Crazy stuff. So, Treeborn can come back here. As it probably should. Yeah, no reason really not to. Okay, he's going to debunk the Treeborn. I don't agree with that. I feel like you want to debunk the Ronin. Okay. If this is Caius, it's game. Gores, okay. But he can't attack because of the soul exchange. So. Now here, do you bring back Ronin to play around Monster Reborn? I think you have to. Monster Reborn off the top does kill you. You can reborn the BLS. So I think you do have to bring back Ronin. If you don't bring back Ronin, oh my god. If he top decks Monster Reborn, I'm ending this video. One time for the fans. Monster Reborn off the top. No, just a set monster. Damn. There's potential for more throwing. There's definitely potential for more throwing here. Like, okay, maybe Ideth just attacks and passes again. Maybe there's a Monster Reborn off the top again. Maybe that's what happens. Okay. Looks like that's what's happening. Oh my goodness. Is it actually going to happen? Is he going to top deck Monster Reborn? I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad if my opponent top Reborn. One time for the fans, he's actually giving him extra turns. This is so fucking bad. This play is so bad. Just summon the Ronin Totem. Summon the Ronin Totem so you don't die to Reborn. Oh my god. So he's got Tour Guide. He's viewing the banished zones. Can't bring back any of his stuff. There's not really anything that impressive, except Spirit Reaper's actually kind of good. Spirit Reaper could help. You could go Leviair in defense, bring back Spirit Reaper in defense as well. And then you have more time towards finding that Monster Reborn that the opponent's not playing around at all. Oh my goodness. That's hilarious. That's actually so funny. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. What do you guys think of this format? I think it's pretty bad. Because, like, look at this. Like, you have to play around what's in your opponent's deck. Is Monster Reborn already used? It's not, right? Yeah, it's not. Oh my god. I don't know what Ptolemaeus is thinking about. Because there's really only one play if you have Tour Guide. It's like summon it and bring back Reaper with Leviair. There's no other play. Every turn that goes by is worse for Ptolemaeus, but if he's able to find that fucking Monster Reborn. Shit. What the fuck? Don't you just Leviair back Spirit Reaper in defense? Are you fucking serious? I guess if there's a Veiler, you lose. But you kind of have to take that risk, right? I don't know. Okay, this is something. This is actually something. Banish the Gores. It's not nothing. Didn't have to banish the BLS, so Monster Reborn still on the table. This is actually a lethal threat. And there wasn't a Veiler, yeah. I mean, it makes sense there wasn't a Veiler. Swap Frog gets banished for Ronin. Here comes maybe a Ryza. Enemy controller. Yep, that ought to do it. Okay. Looks like that's going to be the match. Not playing around Monster Reborn. Never punished. That's pretty funny. And that's going to be that. The winner of this is going to play against very powerful duelist Jaina yugioh. Jaina is going to play against... I don't remember who won that one. If I'm going to be real. I think it might have been the... whatever. Who was it? Grewdog. Grewdog won. Frog Monarchs. Really interesting. I don't think that deck is particularly good in this format, but just don't like the way that maybe he had sided or he had played there. And that Spear Reaper put in so much fucking work. That card was very good. Actually incredible. How well it did against like his opponent playing a little passive, like into not setting back row, but like not committing to the field to play around monarchs. And the Spear Reaper just pokes him, takes all his cards. Spear Reaper also a great way to force fucking hand traps out of these situations. So very nice stuff. This is hype. This is actually a hype tournament. I like these YRS tournaments. This is what when I joined the FL Discord, this is what I started playing in Edison. I was just like, wow, this format's really good. Because there was like YRS tournaments going on. There's a video, I think, of me playing a YRS tournament with fairies on the channel. Or at least the grand finals is on the channel versus Jazz. And that's a cool video for sure. I think I got second place in a couple of them with dragons. There was one where I lost to James in the finals. He was playing Vayu and I was playing dragons, and I drew triple Light and Darkness Dragon against Vayu, and I was just like, bruh. And that's when I realized the truth. Light and Darkness Dragon is bad. Card is so fucking shit. I mean, it's obviously insane if you like just tribute totem summon Lad and your opponent's just like, fuck. And it steals you a lot of games. But against like specifically Vayu, it's like, bruh. He just leaves the Vayu engraved the whole game and my Lads are dead. In any case. We're going to watch Jaina versus iDeath. Very exciting. Let me see what my favorite deck in this format is. I like Agents just because I like Christia. But I also don't like Agents because I think the deck is like really clunky. It's really, really clunky. And it's super awkward. Like if you're playing against someone where the hand traps aren't very good, like if you're playing against Pure Chaos, I think that matchup's nearly unwinnable with Agents. It's really bad. And then I also think that because you have, not only do you have 3 Shine Balls, but you have 3 Maxis. So you have 6 bricks. And then on top of that, they just banish your agent. Like you go Venus into Shine Balls, and then they just like Chaos Monster, banish your agent. And Valor your tour guide, and you lose. Your Hyperions are dead, your Christia's dead, your fucking everything's dead. The Caius, your Gachi, you know, it's just a terrible matchup. And if that Chaos deck is popular, like you can't really afford to play Agents into it. I think Agents does alright versus specifically Tengu Plant, but because that's not the majority of what people are playing, then I don't think you can play it. I actually like, I know this is going to sound really stupid, but I literally just like the fucking fairy deck that's in Edison, but port it into this format with like Dialk and shit, and Soul of Purity and Light and Ghost Ship. Wait, is Ghost Ship legal? I don't know if it's legal. If it's legal, then you do play it. You play at least one copy of Ghost Ship. It's like a way to make Adrius and Tyrius. I'm looking up right now if it's legal. When was it printed? TCG sets. God, fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki on mobile is so stupid. Yeah, I think it's legal. I'm like 99% sure it's legal. It's from Generation Force, I believe. Which I think is the same set Leviathan Dragon is from. But I could be wrong. Cool. Let's go ahead and watch this. Jaina versus iDeath. The first time we're catching a full match. We know iDeath is on Frog Monarchs. We don't know what Jaina is on. Jaina most likely playing Tengu Plant. I know she likes those, like, plant synchro type decks. iDeath wins the rock, paper, scissors. That's huge. In this format, going first is way more impactful than in other formats. The reason being is you get a chance to set your Solemn Warnings for your opponent's starter. And if you have a Solemn Warning maxi opening with any sort of pressure, you guaranteed win the game. So there's like an FTK in every deck, which is like Solemn Warning maxi, and you just have a chance of opening it. Also, if you're not playing Solemn Warning, that kind of stuff, it gets you a chance to resolve your opening through Solemn Warning. So it's very, very big to go first in this format. Like, he's guaranteed to get his Treeborn Frog in the grave here, which is huge. Passes the turn. No fear of anything. If Jaina is playing Tengu Plant, wow, just draw go. Crazy. I was going to say, if Jaina is playing Tengu Plant, then the one thing you're looking to do in this matchup is resolve Trishula. You get a card on the field, card in the hand, card in the grave, and it's just curtains. Lights out. Swap Frog is particularly good in this format because you actually have value out of sending stuff past the first Treeborn. You can actually send Ronin Totems. You can send extra frog names for your Ronin Totems. So like every Swap Frog that resolves past the first one's actually better than just the first one. Whereas in Edison format, after you resolve the first Swap Frog, it kind of becomes, it's superfluous. Like the rest of it doesn't really matter. Treeborn comes back. We'll see if he's main decking something like Vanities. Okay, he's going to pitch for swap, special. Pitches Ronin. This is going to send maybe another frog name. We could see something like attack for 1100 and then Gachi Gachi in defense position. We could see that. We could just see attack for 1000, bounce the swap frog. If that's the case though, then like I don't fully understand some things. Still has the normal. Could bounce the swap and normal it again. Wow. Elected not to do that. I think that's a bit of a misplay from iDeath. Not a bit of a misplay. That just is a misplay. You should bounce it, normal it again, because you haven't normaled. Send another frog name, and then bring back Ronin Totem, make Gachi maybe, even. I think that was for sure a misplay. Definitely just missed a free Foolish Burial there. For no reason. And honestly, if you wanted to make Gachi, like, you're missing damage too. So, I don't really love that play. I think it's quite bad. Here comes the first Monarch of the game. It's going to be Caius, Shadow Monarch. Let's see if Jaina has the Warning or the Veiler. Looks like it's going to target the monster. That's going to get Veilered. Okay. Still a +1 though. You're pretty happy about that. Like build your own Thestalos type beat. And there's Snowman Eater that's going to pop the Caius. This is most likely some sort of Tengu Debris Synchro deck because Snowman Eater is a way you can make Gungnir Dragon of the Ice Barrier with Debris Dragon. So it's a solid Debris target. Gungnir is actually very good. It's got huge stats, and the effect is like Bryonic on steroids. Although Bryonic does get around, like, you know, the destruction-proof stuff. Gungnir is very good. This could also be some sort of, like, various synchro deck. Like, some sort of whatever. And it could also be Heroes. Because Snowman Eater is sometimes played in Heroes as a water target for Absolute Zero. Although, in this format, I believe you lean more into the Shining than you do Absolute Zero. If I am correct. I think this is the format where Angel won the YCS with Gemini beat. I don't remember. I think Angel Flores, I think is his name. Really good player. One of the best players to ever do it. Here's a Swap Frog normal. Indicud is messaging me. Says, is Cam there? Nah, he left. I'm recording, though. We got Swap Frog attacking the set monster. It's another Snowman Eater. Wow, 2 Snowman's main. What did she mean by this? What kind of deck would main 2 Snowmans? Oh, that's huge. That's huge. That's so big. And that's going to eat a warning. Very, very respectable use of Solemn Warning here. Everybody go subscribe to E3 Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube.com/E3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't listen to Indicud. Okay, we've got the fucking Solemn Warning on the Trag. That's big. That's big. But how big is it really? Pot of Duality. It is Heroes. Triple Snowman in the main. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a terrible deck. That's so weird. This is such a weird matchup. Why would you attack the Treeborn? I guess if you have Maxi. This game 1 has to be terrible for Heroes. I can't imagine they have a good matchup at all. And one of the warnings is already gone. Even skill drain, it like doesn't really matter because 2,400 monsters would beat the shit out of you. You can never get over Ronin Totem, ever. So you just kind of lose. Here comes Monarch. Caius. This is going to target the Stratos. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it makes sense, but putting Stratos banished just gives the Shining more options. She already has the hero for the Miracle, so yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. I would have maybe tried to go for the damage. Yeah, definitely would have gone for the damage. I guess it does cut the whatever. Maxi, this is the best it's going to get in this matchup. What? Absolute zero. Bro, what the fuck? What do you mean absolute zero? Why would you make absolute zero here? I guess if you're afraid of Ryza or Caius. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Enemy controller also, it's better for absolute zero. Yeah, just 100. Absolute zero doesn't count itself for the attack gain. I think iDeath has played this game a little poorly. The track drop was cool, but the missing the Swap Frog summon was weird. And like bringing back Treeborn and then not converting off it's kind of weird too. I guess you just want the defender, but like, I guess, you know. Here you could bring back Treeborn. Make an enemy controller play. Swing for 3,000. That's actually big. I think if there's a Treeborn activation and an enemy controller happens, then I think Jaina's actually in a really bad spot. Unless she has the one Book of Moon. And even then, putting the absolute zero face down is really bad. Because then a Monarch just comes down and outs it. This game is not looking good for Jaina. There's so many cards here that beat up on this absolute zero. Enemy controller is particularly good in this format. It's much better than it is in Edison. In Edison, the format's much slower. There's a lot of set monsters. There's a lot of set Raikou. There's a lot of normal summon, like a Goblin Zombie or something, where you don't even really want an enemy controller. In this format, the format's a little bit quicker, but it's not too quick to the point that a brain control isn't still insane. So you have a lot of people summoning like fat threats and just trying to pressure with their fat threats. And that's when enemy controller really shines, is when you can just take a fat threat and then reversal somebody. If you see in this instance, looks like Jaina has disconnected. Oh no. I hope she's able to make it back in time. That would be kind of sad if this ended in a disconnect. Looks like she's back. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. That could have been bad. That could have been really bad. This is actually hype. This is actually hype. What the fuck? Why did she draw a card? It's her turn. It's just Treeborn. What? 6 cards and you're passing? My guy, what's in your hand? It must be like Valor Max, like all that other stuff. Huh. Battle Fader, okay. But why spend the Battle Fader here? I feel like you just take the 25. Do you have a double tribute monster you're trying to resolve? 3 back rows even more deadly. Oh my god. There's the dust shoot. That's big. That's so big. This dust shoot is huge. Because now she just takes the out. There's Caius. She's going to take Caius. That's the 3rd Caius into the deck. Maxi Valor. Okay, of course. Soul Exchange double enemy controller. Wow. Double enemy controller. Now hear me out. Bring back Treeborn. Enemy controller, sack Treeborn. Take Absolute Zero. Bring back Treeborn. Enemy controller, take Thunder King. Bring back Treeborn in attack position. Attack for exactly 5,000. That's what I'm talking about. That's game. That's game, baby. That's game. Will iDeath figure it out? Probably not. But he could at least maybe make a synchro play with the Veiler as well. He could do something like Treeborn, synchro into Brownic. Brownic bounce both back rows. Enemy controller, the absolute 0. That's 53. But that also plays into a lot more. It plays into like skill drain and shit. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Bro, step bro, what are you doing? I guess Soul Exchange plus enemy controllers like build your own dark hole. But what? I don't get it. I feel like you have game shot in like 3 different ways here. But now you're just burning your resources and you have Veiler Maxi to your opponent's 2 back row top decks threats. And then 0 activates here, blows up both. After enemy controller resolves. Yep. Build your own dark hole. Definitely not as good as I think going for game. I think going for game here is more poggers, more hype. You got to be worried about back row, but like what back row you really got to be worried about? Let's be real, you know? iDeath says this is kind of weird. It's not kind of weird. Enemy controller has to resolve before absolute 0 can activate. So you tribute enemy control, or you tribute absolute 0's cost. Take Thunder King, then absolute 0 resolves. Or not, yeah, then absolute 0 activates and resolves. It's pretty straightforward. I guess if you're newer to understanding chain links and stuff. Yeah, you get the idea. Yep, looks like they're figuring it out. Able to move forward. It's going to kill both monsters. I don't really love the use of those spells. I think if you have Soul Exchange double Econ, you can put together a game shot when your opponent's at 5,000. Instead, using it to clear 2 monsters that you could clear relatively easily anyway is like kind of a mediocre use. With the enemy controllers, you could have gotten both monsters and both back row cleared. Whereas with Soul Exchange enemy controller, just clearing 2 monsters is a very inefficient use of your resources. Plus, you lose your Battle Fader in the process, and you don't have defense on this turn as well. So I think that's a very, very mediocre use of iDeath's resources there. I don't think he played that turn quite correctly. Here comes another absolute 0. But wait. Jaina's making the Shining. Holy shit. It's a pretty big The Shining. Gains attack for each of your banished heroes. So it's a 3,500 Shining. It's a 2-turn clock. iDeath could consider Veilering here to save 900 life points. But yeah, this is going to be tough. I don't know if iDeath can put together another game shot. Like he had his opportunity on the last turn. Now there's 2 back rows and a The Shining. So I don't know. I think he really messed up that last turn. This is definitely a game for review. He can put up some walls at the very least with Treeborns and stuff. Like Treeborn, Ronin, and wall up. But 2 Kaius are already used. Has to be specifically like Ryza. Light and Darkness Dragon's pretty bad here. Doesn't get over The Shining. Gores doesn't do it because you can't take another direct hit from The Shining. Battle Fader maybe buys you some time, but time into what? You're drawing to 1 Kaius. 1 Kaius, maybe some Ryzas. Maybe if you play him. If you have to Dark Dust here, it's pretty bad because then The Shining Gets to add back 2 of the banished hero monsters. You get back Stratos, you get back Alias. It's fucking terrible for you. And you're under the same amount of pressure. Summon Stratos, search another monster. Go from there, basically. Put you down to 17, and you're just back in the same spot. I'm actually curious when Ideth drew the Veiler. There are not a lot of opportunities to Veiler this deck. I am pretty shocked that he didn't Veiler the Stratos. There's really, really not a lot of opportunity to Veiler this deck, so pretty surprised he didn't do it. Looks like he's going to normal dupe. That was one of his draws. We didn't know about the dupe. This is going to overlay into Gachi Gachi. Just build a wall. But I still don't like this very much. I mean, you're just biding time. Hoping your opponent doesn't have compulsory. Hoping your opponent doesn't have, like, you know, and every draw past the first one is bad for you. Skill Drain is bad for you. Gemini Spark's bad for you. Like, all these cards that, like, could come down in any moment and put you in a game shot from this. The Shining is really bad. I like the way Jaina's played this game. I like when she summoned Absolute Zero. I like how she recognized the Shining is a 2-turn clock, and it was good to summon it there. I think she's playing really well. Yeah, I think she's making some good plays, for sure. Here's Monster Reborn. That's going to grab Caius. This is going to either clear both material on Gachi or... Yeah, looks like they're just going for a double clear on Gachi. Dang. And that's one Caius out of the grave too, which could matter if Ideth top decks Pot of Avarice. So if he top decks Pot of Avarice, then he has one less Caius to shuffle back. That's basically what I'm thinking. This is a cool game. This is a cool match. I don't think the hero deck is favored. I actually think it's a very bad matchup for heroes. But I just think that those small little plays here and there, like that Dupe Frog that he drew, that could have been sent off that Swap Frog earlier on when he had that turn where he just missed a normal. You know, like these are the things that, these micro little transactions with your deck, these add up when you're playing frogs, you know? One less frog name could totally come up here. If he needs to wall out with fucking whatever. Okay, there's the Heavy Storm. That's a power card. Is there a follow-up, though? Is there a follow-up? Jaina did have Mirror Force. That's pretty big. Wow, Soul Exchange. Okay. But this isn't particularly good. You just take the Caius, then you give it back. You don't get to attack. I think these resources were just like horribly used. You resolved, yeah, the Shining misses timing, yeah. You resolved 2 enemy controllers and 2 soul exchanges, and you got 0 life points out of it. That's something. That's something. I feel like that's a lot of your resources for not that much gain to just stay alive instead of like, because like what are you playing to? Your deck doesn't have inevitability that well. Maybe not, I don't know. Maybe you can outgrind the hero deck. 2 miracles are gone. What is happening here? Normal summon Veiler, make formula. Okay. This is a card I had not thought of. Formula can draw a card. If Ideth makes Colossal Fighter, he should have done it before the battle phase. He just missed a shitload of damage. Yeah. Either way, like, if you're going to synchro, you can make formula and attack and get in the extra damage too. So you're just missing damage here. Not a fan of the way he's playing this game at all. I think the play is very loose. I wonder if he's going to get punished, though. I mean, now he's got a Stardust or whatever he wants, and Jaina is top decking. If Jaina hits the 3rd miracle, she's a god. That's all I'll say. Pretty crazy game. Scrap Dragon. Okay. That makes sense. It makes it difficult for Jaina to particularly top deck an out, but it looks like she did top deck an out. There's Dark Hole. Exactly what you need in order to clear these. She's thinking here, which leads me to believe her last card is Gemini Spark. If the last card is Gemini Spark, then you probably should take the Alias and Spark the Scrap Dragon, maybe. Attack over the Gotchi, Spark the Scrap Dragon. Yep. So the last card is Gemini Spark. Interesting. Alias gets summoned, attacks over Gotchi, sets the Spark, passes the turn. Leaving Dark Hole in deck. This is going to give you a fresh draw too, which is nice. Cycle out the Gemini Spark, which would otherwise be kind of mid here. You basically need the third Miracle Fusion in order to win this game. So Jaina's only drawing to the third Miracle. Scrap Dragon's effect is going to target the back row and the Treeborn. It's going to chain Gemini Spark. Because you know it's Gemini Spark, you shouldn't do that. You should just attack. Yeah, because you know it's Gemini Spark. The only reason you would take Alias there is if you have Gemini Spark. That way you also leave up Treeborn as a blocker. Now you're forced to banish for Ronin, which you were probably going to do anyway, let's be real, but you have one blocker instead of two. So I don't love it. I wonder if this hero deck plays Return. It probably should. Sets back row, sets monster. That could be the third Snowman. We know she is playing 3. She still has enough life points to pay for 1 warning. But there's only 1 Caius left in the deck. Treeborn comes back. Here's Ronin activation. I wonder if Daigusto Phoenix is legal. If this is Light and Darkness Dragon, that's game. That's just game. Think here. This could be a Torrential Tribute. This could be a Torrential Tribute. How many frogs have been banished? There's still 2 extra ones they could banish for Ronin. In response to summon, Hero Blast. Okay. This is going to pop the Ronin Totem. Playing around Light and Darkness Dragon. Interesting. Not the worst Hero Blast, but not the best either. Correctly popping the Treeborn Frog, making it so the opponent loses their second tribute material. But unfortunately, it looks like we're going to go to the next game. That's tough. That's tough. So we now know that Ideth is playing Ryza. A lot of missed opportunities from Ideth in that game, but he just was never punished. Jaina drew a little suboptimally, had a Space Typhoon, had some like awkward early miracles that didn't really convert to enough damage. She got the first hit in for 35, put him down to 35, but the first miracle actually didn't do much other than just like secure a position. I might have even considered saving that miracle and dust shooting first and tried to get more out of it later on. Maybe not though. Maybe not. She had Mirror Force that didn't get used. So I think it's a little bit of a misuse of her resources to use the Miracle Fusion to out a Caius when she had Mirror Force, which could have outed the Resolve Caius, and had the Miracle Fusion, which could have been more damage. These are the slight things you want to think about. How do you want your cards to be used? What do you want to get out of each of your cards? Do you want to get the monster removal from Miracle Fusion, or do you want to get the monster removal from Mirror Force? The thing about Miracle Fusion is it can act as 3 different things, right? It can act as damage, it can act as a threat, it can act as monster removal. It can act as all 3 of those things. Mirror Force, it can't act as all 3 of those things. It can only act as monster removal. So you want to use your more narrow outs earlier and have the more versatile outs, or not just outs, but like more versatile cards in this case for later. Later in the game, if she had had that second miracle, and if she had used her Mirror Force, which as we saw, it didn't get used the whole game, if she had had her second miracle, she could have easily put a second Shining up and killed at a couple different points in the game. So I think I think these are things to think about for sure. I was thinking that maybe her back row was like Hero Blast Spark, back when she went for the first miracle, but in hindsight, that first miracle was maybe a bit too aggressive. And given that she had the dust shoot to go ahead and check out what was happening, she could have taken anything that was going to, affect her Mirror Force and then just Mirror Force the Caius on the way down. A large part of this matchup is damage racing, which is pretty important. There's a lot of different stuff that goes into this matchup. I think it's actually quite tricky to navigate from the hero beat player. Even a tiny mistake. Like I don't even think Jaina's play is necessarily a mistake. It's something that you could think about in hindsight and learn from. But if it is a mistake, then it's so slight compared to just straight up missing foolish burials, straight up missing lethal with double enemy controller multiple times, stuff like that. It's those are huge misplays. But because the frog matchup is so good, because Ronatoden's so good against hero beat, because the monarchs are so naturally well positioned against the hero monsters, I think you can afford to make more misplays. Whereas Jaina, she makes a slight error or whatever, slight misuse of resources. All of a sudden, yeah, looks like it's bugged. Looks like we got a bugged game where both players are done siding, but it's not starting the game. Dueling book. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, why I am moving more towards paper content. Because this is... it's great, don't get me wrong, but this is something else. This is something else. Really, really interesting. Let's go ahead and quit out and see if that fixes any sort of bug. Or if DB is just crashing right now. Wow. I think it's just crashing straight up. That's insane. Wouldn't be a video without DB lag. I'm really happy that this hasn't happened in RBET yet, because this would be devastating. We are right now moving into the winners finals. After this, Indicud is in one side of winners finals, and Jaina is fighting against Screwdog for the other side of winners finals. Maybe. Potentially. If Dueling Book wants to cooperate. This is also another issue with getting sponsors for the tournaments, is I can't get a sponsor for a tournament if this is what the servers are like. That would be terrible for me. If I host a tournament, let's say I host a tournament, and a sponsor's like, okay, I'm going to contribute thousands of dollars to a prize pool, and DB crashes in the middle of a tournament, not only does that ruin my relationship with that sponsor, but it ruins that tournament. It ruins the validity of the win of that tournament. It's just it's very difficult. I want to throw really big events. That's something I really, really want. And I can't do that unless, the platform we're doing it on is secure, which is the biggest unfortunate part of all this. It looks like it's bugged out again. This is insane. Duel no longer exists. They're probably just rehosting, which is fine. Because it kicked them off while they were both clicking done and bugged out. So that's my issue. That's my issue I'm into. And I don't really have a solution for that. I don't really have the funds to start my own DB or whatever specifically for alt formats or whatnot. I don't really have the resources for that right now. The only thing I can really do is throw paper events and hopefully get sponsors for those, more or less. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Goddamn. This is tough. This is tough. What was your favorite part of the Edison Summit? I really liked it. What did you guys like the most about it? I want to know, because I want to know what I should be doing more of in the future, and I want to know what I should be doing differently in the future from you guys. I think one thing I'm for sure going to be doing differently in the future is I'm going to be adding additional cameras to show the players' faces. A lot of people were requesting the face cams. Before the tournament started, I had the option to do face or hand cams, and more people wanted to see hand cams. But I would like to do both in the future. Additionally, I also want to get the commentators into a separate room, but that requires a second PC setup. So everything that I want to do for these events to make them bigger is going to cost a lot of money, more or less. And if you guys want to contribute to that, you can donate in the description below, or you can just subscribe to the channel and watch the videos, like with ad block off and stuff, and that actually goes a long way. As long as the videos keep doing well, then I can keep putting on really sick events and upping the production quality and getting stuff better. Definitely go watch the Edison Summit event if you haven't already. The more views on that, the better. The more likely I'll be able to get a sponsor for future ones if it has a lot of views. My goodness, what is going on? There we go. This is cursed. This is really, really cursed. In the middle of a fucking semifinals match, too. It's so annoying. I don't know how the fuck you can host tournaments on here with this sort of stuff happening. It's just too complicated. I'm a little nervous about RBET4, but hopefully this sort of stuff doesn't happen again. All we can do is just pray that the servers get fixed or whatever. In any case, Edison format coming up. What do we got? Content-wise, I'm going to be doing a video with Cameron's cat plant deck from the Edison Summit. I'm going to be doing a video with fairies. Just kidding. I'm going to be doing a Tengu video with fairies. I'm going to be doing probably some more Iron Man content, some more competitive content. I'm going to do some money matches in the coming weeks. Edison format money matches. I want to cover some really competitive games leading up to RBET4. That's my goal, is the most competitive stuff possible. Looks like we're finally able to get in for game 3 of this match, this very heated match. No, not even game 3, game 2. Game 2 of this very heated match. All that lag made me feel like it was game 3. Goddamn. This is very tilting. I'm doing this all in one take. I'm not going to edit it down. I just want to have a nice long video to upload. With some quality content, some quality duels for you guys. What else have we got? Got Indicud versus the winner of this match coming up. Jaina's down a game. Grewdog is the favorite, aka iDeath is the favorite to win here. But who knows? Who knows? I dislike this format sometimes because it feels like you're not rewarded for good play as frequently as you are in other formats like GOAT and Edison. As I feel like, although Jaina was playing tighter, she had a better game plan, she had better sequencing in the previous game, she just lost due to, like, the matchup. You know? Look at this, done siding over the life points. That's a lovely, lovely dueling book thing. Effect Failure, gonna negate Stratos. Like I said in the last game, Effect Failure doesn't have a lot of targets, so you do kind of have to pick and choose where you use it. I am shocked iDeath left it in post board. I'm, like, actually shocked. Why would you leave an Effect Failure versus Hero Beat? You have one target. Sure, you can make a synchro with it. Is it worth it to have a 1-star 0/0 vanilla tuner in your deck post board? I don't think so. But, hey, what do I know? I'm not in the semifinals of this tournament, right? There's Duality. Duality pretty big. That's going to see Crow Honest Alias. Interesting, elects not to grab the Alias. Already has one. Makes sense. Run straight into a Ronin Totem. Yep, there it is. Overlays into Utopia. I don't hate this. I would have probably done it main phase 1. Just to guaranteedly get over the Ronin. Because you have Crow if it's Treeborn. And if it's not Treeborn, then they can just sack it for a Monarch now, and you look kind of silly for making Utopia now. Okay, I take it all back. I think this is a strict misplay. I think you were supposed to make Utopia main 1. I don't think you were supposed to make it main 2, because if there's a Monarch and it banishes the Utopia, it's pretty bad. Although, to be fair, it does put 2 heroes directly into your grave. So if Jaina is setting up... Wait, did Jaina just Duality and Utopia on the same turn? This is an illegal play. I'm going to message her. Yeah, I'm going to message them and say it's an illegal play. Fuck that shit. I'm technically a judge for this tournament. Okay. I'm gonna message Indicud and talk shit. Yeah. She realized it. Either that or she checked the DMs. Yeah. I'm surprised neither player caught that. I guess maybe they're not used to playing with this card. Indicud's hilarious. He's like, what? I don't see any Utopia. There was never a Utopia in play. I don't know what you're talking about. The classic Indicud. Oh, he's actually just glitched. That's so cursed. I thought he was joking, but it's a dueling book glitch. It's so funny. Dueling book glitches all of a sudden have a sense of humor. Okay. This is a easily reversible situation, thankfully. What's going on? What is going on here? Big think from iDeath. I'm starting to understand why his previous match took so fucking long. Says all good. Okay, cool. Looks like we're moving forward. No harm done. It's funny too, because I think making Utopia is actually a misplay. Anyway. But yeah, thankfully it was caught. Gonna go ahead and do some other stuff this turn. Jaina is up a card thanks to that effect failure. She could be up 2 if she makes Utopia. Well, I guess she can't be up 2. She could be up another one if she goes Utopia and attacks over the Ronin. But I don't know what level 4s are legal. I think Steel Storm, Roach, and Utopia are the only 2. I'm not sure if the Gem Knight guy is legal yet. I don't really remember. I don't know this format very well. I know it from when I played it, but I don't know the actual legal card list as well as I know Edison's. I don't know the niche Grenosaurus type monsters. Now Jaina's thinking. Back-to-back 45-minute thing. Oh no, it's just dueling book lag. Yep. It's just dueling book lag. Of course. Let's go ahead and refresh this game. Let's see if it changes anything. My goodness. So cursed. The first message. Hashtag fix your servers. That gets a like from me. That gets a like. Literally. Either take the site down or fix your servers. Doing the middle is bruh. You feel me? I left. Nothing has changed. Okay. And we're back. Nothing has changed. My goodness. This has been the longest first 2 turns of a game I think I've ever seen. Thanks to partially dueling book lag and partially some illegal plays and partially some missequencing and now a huge amount of thinking and bruh. I hope this YouTube video is at least mildly entertaining. I don't care, actually. Just watch for the ads, all right? So I can throw more summon events. Fuel the summit events. Players, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists, rise up. Rise up, duelists. Okay, now Jaina is disconnected yet again. My goodness. Oh, man, this is brutal. This is brutal. Okay, she's back. She's back. Now we make Utopia. Now we make it. I'm falling asleep recording this fucking game. Two of the most resident sleeper decks, playing through the most miserable lag and illegal plays and takebacks and fucking in winter semis. My God. Yeah, Utopia attacks over Ronin Totem. Jaina says, I think the thinking emoji is making things worse. It's possible. It's possible the thinking emoji is bugged. Go Utopia. Utopia attack Ronin. That's what you attack here for sure. You don't attack the other set. Because it could be Treeborn. Or it could be dupe. You attack Ronin for sure. Can't come back. So it's like guaranteed little +1. I almost wouldn't even attack both. I almost wouldn't. I probably still would, but if she has another monster to summon, that is. Just because you have the crow, so if it is Treeborn, you can crow it. But I might not attack both. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I would. Who knows? Oh my God. This is so cursed. This video is so cursed. Holy fuck. I don't know if there's anything else I can plug. RBET the end of the month. I already said that. Fuck. Smash like, subscribe. Leave a comment about your worst dueling book lag experience. This might be the worst dueling book lag experience I've ever seen. Nah, it's not. It's for sure not. But it's up there. Because it's a tournament semifinals. That's why it's so bad. Both players like lagging like crazy. Okay. Attacks over the Ronin. Didn't do anything else. So that means no monster. Because if you're Jaina, you're summoning a monster here. Like, it's just what you're doing. If you have the threat, you summon it alongside. I wonder if Jaina's playing the Crusader of Endymion. I don't think she is because she's got triple Snowman. But the Crusader of Endymion is actually pretty good in this format. Not only is it a 4th target for Gemini Spark, not counting E-Calls, Rhoda, and Stratos, of course, but it's also light for the Shining. So it's one of those cards that I think is actually a pretty good one-of in the deck. She might be playing it. She might have room amidst the 3 Snowman and all the hand traps and stuff to fit it or whatever, but I think generally speaking it's pretty good to have the one in this format specifically, just because of the Shining, really. You want good lights that make your good back row live. It's honestly better than Thunder King in a lot of different instances, just because it turns on the Gemini Spark. Makes your hands a little bit more active. And it doesn't conflict with your own dualities. There goes the Dupe Frog. Dupe Frog is going to search for Swap Frog. And now the Ronin Totem is live. So that DD Crow does have some play here. But this Swap Frog is big because it's like, are you going to DD Crow my Ronin and then not have it for the Treeborn? Or what? That's why I like Swap Frog in these later formats a little bit more. Every summon after the first is just additional pressure. If Jaina has something like Skill Drain set, then that could be huge for her. Because she can Skill Drain on the Swap Frog summon, and then prevent the sending of a Treeborn Frog, and then just DD Crow the Ronin and be in a winning position. Skill Drain would be amazing for her here. For sure. Skill Drain is a little bit more fragile in this format specifically because there are, of course, 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon and Heavy Storm Legal. So it is a little bit more fragile. But at least getting 1 negate isn't too bad. At least I don't think it's that bad. I don't want to play the Light Sworn in this format. There's a Skill Drain. Wow. I'm on my shit today. Fucking reading everything. Last game I read Ida's Hand of Valor Maxi. This game I read the Skill Drain. I'm out here. Skill Drain is obviously fucking phenomenal. Ideth can still bounce the Swap Frog for cost. If he wants to. He could also still make like a rank 2, but the rank 2s under skill drain are actually worse than just the Ronin Totem body itself. So one thing that Ideth could do is chain enemy control. Oh my god, he's doing it. Yep, there it is. And this is going to get him the send because Swap Frog is no longer in play. Now Ideth is warming up. All he needed was a shitload of DB lag to see some fire plays like this. Like chain enemy controller to play around skill drain. That's what I'm talking about. And this is some damage too. I mean, 2500 is very real damage. Finally using enemy controller for what it's supposed to be used for. Damage. That's what it's supposed to be used for. Main 2, can he convert off this Utopia? I don't think he can. I don't think there's like a Gaia Charger or Chaos Utopia legal in the front. Is Chaos Utopia legal? Let me check. Let me check if it's legal. Utopia, I believe it's Utopia Ray. When did it come out? I think it might be legal. That's crazy. I feel like if you're playing frogs, you have to have the Utopia Ray in your extra deck. Just because you can take a Utopia Ray in. Or take a Utopia and overlay it. There's the Crow for the Treeborn. But now the Ronin is live. So, when you force the Crow that way, does Jaina have a second Crow? Can I read the second Crow psychically as well? Oh my god, that's huge. That's huge. That's going to give Ideth another shot at using this Treeborn. I think maybe Ideth could have gotten more out of the burial. I think what he could have done is actually banished for Ronin in main, and then seen if Jaina has a second Crow, and then put all 3 back with the burial. I think he could have gotten more out of it. But it looks like he just wants to enemy control. Finally using the enemy controllers for what they're there for. Damage. That's why you want them. That's why you want them. All right, what could give him lethal? He needs 1,800 points. This is big. You summon Monarch. No, you summon Lad. Okay, but Warning puts you to 23. Lad still activates. Still gets back Swap Frog. You can bring back Ronin. Attack for 1,100. Put Jaina to 1,200. Put her under Solemn Warning. Dude, no. What are you doing? Bro, what are you doing? You gotta put him below warning range. Also, why wouldn't you attack with Utopia Ray first? If you weren't going to attack with monsters, you would attack with Utopia first every single time to get into 2,500. And then put him under warning and then go for the... Bruh. If he loses this game, I'm shocked. I am shocked. Because I feel like that turn... Yeah, I don't know. Here's The Shining. The Shining is going to attack over Dupe Frog. And get a search. That was... I think Ideth just plays these games so passively. He could have won the last game so much easier. He could have won this game so much easier. I don't know. Obviously, the last game worked out for him, but, like, he had to get really lucky for it to work out for him. Dupe Frog cannot search Dupe Frog. Yeah, that's illegal. Yep. Illegal move. I should message Jane as well before he draws, hopefully. All right. Hopefully they get it sorted. What do you mean, how? It says accept dupe frog. Accept dupe frog. Yeah. What? Bruh. Jaina says, haven't faced frogs in ages. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's just one of those things. Freeborn Frog. I recognize that username, actually. I think I played against that guy before. Cool dude. You have to search a different frog. No problem. Thankfully, I am a judge, so I can actually say stuff like this in FL. I have the judge role for some fucking reason. Hey, I'm just going to say I'm more qualified than some of the judges I've had in the past. But I'm not the best with rulings, let's be real. I'm more of a gameplay guy. Elected not to use dupe, I guess? Is that just something that happened? I don't fucking know. Maybe he doesn't realize he can bring something back from the graveyard as well. He can easily bring back swap as well. Treeborn's coming back. What did she get out of that miracle? She just attacked over the dupe? I feel like you didn't have to do that. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, that's insane. He had all 3 enemy controllers? That's insane. He should have won this game. I mean, he missed damage with the Utopia. He missed... Literally, okay, let's say they have Mirror Force. You just bring back Ronin, double sack for Lad, and you use the Utopia to trade with the Mirror Force, and you have Lad. That's such a bad play not attacking first. Oh my god. That's so tilting. That's really, really tilting. This has been a tilting game to watch for sure. Oh my gosh. I'm not the best commentary because I get hung up on misplays like no other. Jaina's got the positions still. Skill Drain plus the Shining will beat out any sort of Monarch bullshit. Solemn Judgment stopping the 3rd enemy controller. And now Jaina's only thing she needs to worry about is I don't know, Heavy Storm Caius. Or Space Typhoon Caius, or Caius Space Typhoon. Because she could go normal summon Caius, target the Shining. And Jaina will be like, okay. Chain Space Typhoon, target Skill Drain. That could work. Here's Ronin. Don't really get that. Making Gachi under Skill Drain doesn't do anything. No real reason to do that. You're just throwing away cards. Swap Frog to hand. Okay. Yeah. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe he realized that Skill Drain was still face up. Jaina's going to activate Rhoda, attack over that monster, and leave the Treeborn in play. Interesting. Leads me to believe she might have some sort of removal effect for the Treeborn that's in play. There's a good chance Jaina just straight up wins this game because of the way iDeath has catastrophically thrown. I hope Jaina wins this match just because I think she's been playing better. But the matchup is that bad to where I think there are some instances where it just won't matter. That was crazy. Dinah and Skill Drain, not exactly a combo. But we've got, okay, Dinah Direct. And then, no, not Dinah Direct. Dinah over Treeborn. Then you could spark your own Skill Drain. You could attack with Alias. Wow. Yeah, Jaina says, oh, thank fuck. Legit, that was some of the worst frog gameplay I've ever seen from iDeath in that game. I don't know how you can open triple enemy controller against someone with no back row who's already paid 1,000 life points and is just putting huge monsters in play, and then you don't find lethal somehow. I think that was really, really messy. Looks like we're going to be moving into game 3. Jaina does have DD Crows. She does have Skill Drain. Death is still bugging on Dueling Book. Crazy. The amount of bugs in this specific time period just for this one match, it's crazy. That's so insane. I've never seen that bug before. We're discovering new Dueling Book glitches as this match is going along. Actually wild. Actually so wild. This is insane. This is actually insane. Looks like they are going to be doing some stuff. It says DB sucks today. It ain't just today, brother. It ain't just today. Well, let me tell you. It's exceptionally bad today, but it ain't just today. Oh my goodness. It's tough, right? Because, like, not only is it the whatever, but now it's the whatever. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. It's not only is it Tengu plant format that we're watching, but it's Tengu plant through obscene DB lag. This is tough. I'm happy we're catching it, though. I think we've seen some interesting stuff. Not the most interesting stuff, but definitely some curious stuff. And stuff we can take away from it and bring back to Edison format. Like the Spirit Reaper tech and the Monarchs, I think is very cool. Also, the utilization of enemy controller, that kind of stuff. Learning how to use these cards properly is big. In Edison format, like I was talking about earlier, there's a lot more set Raikou, set Hamster, so enemy controller is not as good. Usually you only play like 0 or 1. But in this format, Soul Exchange is not as good because you want your battle phase, because you need to pressure your opponent. If you don't pressure your opponent, then they'll just fucking OTK you or Trish you or whatever. I am actually shocked we haven't seen a single Trishula happen on camera. Actually just so shocked. Kind of wild. Death getting to go first. Opening up with just a set monster yet again. Probably a 2000 Defender or a Treeborn Frog. I wonder if Jaina's on something like Nobleman of Crossout. Probably not. Big duality. It's going to reveal Monster Reborn, another duality, and an E-Call. E-Call gets you access to Stratos and Alias, which is big. Gets your whole engine online. Looks like she's going to grab Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn in this matchup is actually really interesting. It can act as a pseudo DD Crow as well. You can bring back their Treeborn or their Ronin Toadin and just move it out of the way, which is nice. There's Treeborn. Let's see if Jaina's going to try to reborn it. No, she learned how duality worked in the first match. That's right. But yeah, later in the game, you can actually Monster Reborn the Treeborn and get it out of the way, back onto your side of the field, and force your opponent to spend their battle phase with something like a Swap Frog, and it buys you extra turns, which is actually really good. So it has a lot of utility in this matchup, I think. Generally speaking, just a really solid card, Monster Reborn. Kind of wild how little play it sees nowadays in current Yu-Gi-Oh! Despite how good I actually think it is in so many decks. I think it's pretty good in just about anything that has a large amount of tutors. Like, I think the Punk deck should probably be playing Monster Reborn. There's DD Crow, and that's going to be a full stop for Death's turn. Jaina's going to attack directly. There's a Battle Fader. Kind of predicted the Battle Fader situation. Or some sort of Trag Gores. Makes sense as well. No Debunk from Jaina. Debunk pretty good against the Frog Monarch deck. It can hit not only Treeborn Frog and Ronin Totem, but it can hit also the Battle Fader Trag Gores, as well as hand traps. So, like Effect Veiler Maxi. I was pretty surprised to see Death last game having both Effect Veiler and I think Maxi in his deck after sighting. So that means he has cards he thought were worse than that to sight out, which is mind-boggling, to say the least. There's Space Typhoon. Gonna see definitely more of those post board, especially against these backer decks. It's gonna chain Gemini Spark. Pop the Fader. I like this play from Jaina. Removes a permanent tribute fodder. Also makes it so your opponent doesn't have a great Monarch play this turn. I like it. I like this play. It was a pretty easy to read Gemini Spark, but I think trading the Typhoon with it isn't so bad, like going 2 for 2 there. You relieve a lot of pressure on your life points if you're iDeath, and that would have happened either way if you used a Monarch. There's an argument to spending your Monarch there specifically to try and out the Alias, but you do walk into Solemn Warning. So I think using the Typhoon is actually okay. Looks like iDeath has no Gores, no Trag, no Fader that he wants to use right now. And that's just going to be tough. That's just going to be tough. Treeborn's gone. No Swap Frog. Tough days. Tough days for Frog fans. Hand is probably locked up with stuff like Enemy Controller and Tribute Monsters. Potentially Soul Exchange as well. I think Soul Exchange is actually pretty good against the Hero Beat deck. It helps you stabilize the position, helps remove the Shining, which can be a very annoying threat. Helps remove a lot of different stuff. If you're able to Soul Exchange into a... Whoa, Puppet Plant's crazy. That's actually crazy. It's kind of a carryover from the previous format where Xian and Xian Smoke Signal were at 3. But I think Puppet Plant's pretty good. I think it's like kind of mid against the Xian decks in general in the previous format because D-Fissure stops it. But where were they going with all this? Oh yeah, it's pretty good against the hero decks. They don't normally play D-Fissure. iDeath finally attacking first. Finally recognizing that you should attack before tribute summoning stuff after the last game. Goes ahead and spins the back row. That's tough. Jaina just puts it back. Sets monster, sets back row. Oh, sets monster to Miracle. Interesting. Sets monster before Miracling. Okay. Also interesting. I wonder if it's a snowman. And if it is a snowman, would you want to set it? Because now you're giving yourself Soul Monarch or Soul Enemy Controller. That's the real question here. I guess if you have back row, then it doesn't really matter if the back row's live. iDeath's in a bad spot, for sure. Another Puppet Plant would be pretty good. It would stabilize. Just a back row. That's a little sus. No cap. That could be Treacherous Trap Hole. That would be really good, actually. Especially if you can get a Chain Link 2 one off here. That'd be really nice. Like if Jaina activates something, you can Chain Link 2 Treacherous Trap Hole, pop Shining, pop the other shit. Make Shining miss timing. Reborn that we knew about from turn 1. Target Ryza. He still has the Maxis left in his deck. And we know he must have drawn it this turn. Because otherwise he would have used it on the Miracle. But this is just fucking game. Unless the back row does anything. It's got to be Enemy Controller. Yeah. There it is. Alright. No Solemn from Jaina. That would have been crazy Solemn if she had it. Sets another back row. Dude. iDeath is looking like he should have won the last game when he had the chance. Oh, man. This is brutal. This is actually brutal. Looking at his 5-card hand, probably like, fuck me. There are just too many threats to out, and the Frog Monarch deck doesn't do a good job of multi-outing. When your opponent only has 1 threat, it does well. When your opponent has 5 threats and 2 back row, bruh. And one of the threats is a McFucking Fossil Dyna. Yeah, I don't know. That should just do it. That should wrap things up. And it looks like Jaina is able to take the match. I'm happy that Jaina won, just because I think she was playing a lot better than her opponent this game. I think she was more deserving of this victory. Well done to Jaina. She's going to move on to winners finals versus Indicud. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I like both these players a lot. Well, I like Jaina a lot. I actually fucking hate Indicud, but you know what? That's beside the point. We're gonna see a really exciting winners finals here, and this is everything that I wanted to get on camera, pretty much this whole time. I'm gonna maybe leave a little chapter mark here to the actual winners finals, so that people can skip through the obscene DB bullshit. But I just want to have the whole video captured for those of you at home who enjoy this type of thing, really, like, who just have a good time watching different formats of Yu-Gi-Oh, watching quality gameplay from some of the best players online, multi-format best players. I think Jaina and Indicud are both all-stars across several formats, so it's cool to see them do well here in Tengu Plant in the YRS 51, whatever fucking number it is. Again, if you want to play in tournaments like this, feel free to join the FL Discord in the description below. What an absolute blast it is to play in these. I really like these like sort of smaller local size tournaments because it's usually more dense with the best players and less about like, you know, all of the other stuff. And you get to really like hone your skills in these. Usually like every single one of your rounds is a competent opponent. Usually speaking, I mean, even like iDeath, like he made some serious mistakes. Don't get me wrong, but he knew some stuff. Like he saw the enemy controller chain on Swap Frog. Like he's still a very competent opponent. Like he's not like someone who doesn't know that fucking like whatever didn't do whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he didn't know that fucking Scrap Archfiend was legal or some shit like that. It's like he knows the format. He knows what he's doing, and that's why these smaller YRS tournaments are so much fun to take place in. Or to participate in, I should say, not take place in. I guess take place in kind of works too. I'm excited. I think Indicud is gonna win. I think Jaina is playing a worse deck than Indicud, but never count out Jaina. She could have an insane start with multiple warnings, pot of duality into fucking whatever the fuck else, and close things out. It is interesting that in the first game, she could have played a little bit differently with her Miracle Fusions and maybe had a better shot. But well, the rest of the games, the next two games, she really tightened up her play and murdered her opponent accordingly. Gonna win the rock, paper, scissors, so that's huge for Jaina. That's actually huge. The Hero Beat deck does so much better going first than going second. Going second, I think it's pretty tough. Your warnings are much worse. Your Thunder King's much worse. Everything in your deck is much worse going second, except specifically Gemini Spark Alias. Also, you expose yourself to your opponent summoning Thunder King and having that kind of stuff. Finally, we're gonna get to see what Indicud is playing. Wait, do we know what Indicud is playing? What was he playing against earlier? I think he might be playing Chaos or Agents. Actually, I think he's playing Agents. Never mind. I think the Agents is actually a good matchup for Hero Beat. Especially post-board. You get Leeching the Light. Yeah. I think it's actually a good matchup. I'm excited to see how this goes. Game 1, Jaina might be favored. For some reason, I thought Indicud was playing Tech Genis Psychics, but that was Karpath. I got them confused. I feel like Tech Genis Psychics does very well against Hero Beat. But this sort of thing probably does a little bit better for Jaina. Jaina, big think. Big think. This is winners finals. This is actually a really hype match. Jaina's got the clean Cyber Dark avatar, and Indicud's got the Time Redoer Xyz monster. Fucking weeb shit. Hate Indicud. Just wanted that on record. I actually hope he loses. Oh god, this is legal? This format is dog shit. What the fuck? You have Duality, Future Fusion, and Trap Dust Shoot? What the fuck? This format's terrible. What the fuck? Wait, you're telling me no one's playing dragons in this? Bruh. This format is garbage. What the fuck? Holy shit. Okay, never mind. I take it all back. I was getting a little excited, thinking might be a good match, but... Oh my god. Look at that hand. That's so bad. That's so fucking bad. I mean, if you're Indicud, you're just shine ball attack. You got to get some life points in. You got to get some damage in. You got to hold the board. So yeah, it's always shine ball attack here. You have no other play. You could also reborn the alias and get in 2400. I don't hate that either. You reborn alias, but then you play into Hero Blast. I don't like it. I don't like it. Is there a Hero Blast? Hero Blast would be so bad. Okay, just Solemn Warning. Uses the Honest to poke. And then passes the turn. Interesting. Well. If Indicud top decks the Venus, the Creation Venus, he did not. Alas, he did not. But if he had that turn, I think he won the game on the spot immediately. Because Gotchi's 900, thing is whatever. Looks like Indicud is going to cycle his max, draw a card, and this is going to 2-for-1, I believe, with the Honest. You have to use Honest here, right? Why would you not use Honest here? You have to use Honest. There's no way you don't use Honest here. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's got to be Honest. It's got to be. Like, what else could it be? What else could it be? You just take 2,000 and then you're hoping to, like, what, rip Mind Control? Yeah, no, it has to be Honest. You're looking to top deck Earth. Yeah. So Jaina's going to take 500, drop down to 3,900. But if you top deck Earth, like, you straight up win. Or if you top deck Venus, you straight up win. Oh my god, here it comes. Venus off the top, one time. One time for the fans. Jaina might have Gores. I could totally believe it. But, wow, nothing. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. The fucking agent deck, it just bricks. Doesn't do anything. Here's Miracle. Not another max. That's game. Yeah, that's game. I don't see how you win from this. With that hand, I don't see you ever coming back. You had 2 turns to top deck the agent, and you didn't. Fuck, man. I hate the agent deck so much. I actually think it's the worst fairy deck in this format. I think the other fairy deck is straight up better. I think the other fairy deck, where you don't play the Agent of Creation. You just play the Jupiter and the Earths, and then you play Dark Lord Desire and Max Hand Traps, Shining Angel, that stuff. Okay, Absolute Zero attacking. Second Shine Ball, classic. 2 balls, classic. There goes Indicud's balls. Destroyed. Frozen off by Absolute Zero. Says back row, sets monster passes. The only back row that deck plays is Space Typhoon, so that's a Space Typhoon. Or a Dust Shooter or Solemn, but generally speaking, it's a Space Typhoon. There's Space Typhoon, there's a Space Typhoon. I mean, that was obvious, and here's a Hero Blast. So, we got a big chain. Big chain, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a normal summon alias. No. Oh my god. That's a crush. That's a crush. Because if that's Sangan, it's... Set effect Veiler. Dude. Dude, this matchup can't be good game 1. And I don't see it getting much better game 2 unless he has Royal Decree. Royal Decree makes it a little bit better. DD Crow can also be okay. Yeah, I don't hate DD Crow. Royal Decree, that kind of stuff. Here's the Creation. But I think it's too little too late. Yeah, that's it. That's going to be the game. You're just dead on board. Honest is gone. Just give it up. You can crash, or you can special here, force the Thunder King. But yeah, it's just game, yeah. Okay, game 2. Indicud's gonna have access to DD Crow instead of Max C. He's gonna have access to Royal Decree if he plays it. He's gonna have access to a lot more things that he might like. He can cut the effect failures. He could maybe play some Herald of Orange Lights. I don't know if he sides them. And then he could also side, you know, just like Dark Hole type shit, Lightning Vortex type shit. Jaina is going to have Leeching the Light, which is an OTK card. Just OTK the opponent with Leeching the Light. And then she's also going to have... I don't know, I think that's all you need. I think the matchup's already good. You just need Leeching the Light. Maybe Light Imprisoning Mirror too. Actually, Light Imprisoning is pretty bad. It stops your own Thunder King and your Shining, so I think it's just Leeching the Light. That's all you really need. Maybe even Cyber Dragon, so you can go Cyber, Alias, Miracle, Leeching the Light, game. I can see that. I could definitely see that. And it could drop passes. Fucking bunch of shine balls. Bunch of shine balls is what it is. Yep, that's a triple shine ball hand. Oh my god, and she opened Future Fusion again. Let's see if she has the Dust Shoot to back this up as well. This time. Damn. This is why the agent deck is bad. This is why it's bad. Because your engines don't do anything together. Like, even if a tour guide resolves here, what does it do for your deck? It doesn't do anything for your deck. Typhoon on the back row, okay. Chain Hero Blast. Really awkward. And we're going to see if that comes up to matter. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. Who knows? Creature Swap. Looks like Indicud decided into Creature Swaps. Creature Swap, arguably worse in this format than it is in Edison. But it'll do something here. At least convert a drawn Shine Ball. Because, you know, you always are going to draw Shine Balls. Like, there's no... I think you're opening Shine Ball in the top 7, like, 47% of the time. Jaina left in Space Typhoons. Bruh! How are you leaving in Space Typhoons against agents? The only back row they play is Space Typhoon. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a slip up. A little bit of a slip up there. Here's Alias. Here's Spark. Cycling the Spark. Choosing to do that so that she can Miracle in main 1. If there's a Crow here, that's big, but if there was a Crow, it would have stopped the Hero Blast. I think Indicud is dead. I think he's lost here. Dead lost. I don't know about making Absolute Zero. I might have made the Shining here. I guess Absolute Zero trades with Hyperion, whereas Shining would just get you back an Alias, which doesn't necessarily do anything. So I guess Zero is okay here. But I don't know. I don't know, actually. The Shining is more damage, too. I don't know how much that matters, though. How much 400 more puts him to 32. That probably is marginal here or there stuff. Dang. Monster Reborn, target Shine Ball, Kappa. Nope. Gonna grab Thunder King. Okay. Chain Maxi. Okay. Draws a card. Draws another card. God, this agent deck is bad. God, this card is bad. Alright. What's up next? What's up next? Absolute Zero could trade 2 for 1 into the Thunder King if Honest is present. And then any other monster could be big pressure for Jaina. Elects not to include another monster. Indicud using Monster Reborn just to buffer life points. That's embarrassing. That's really, really embarrassing. I think this game is over. I think this game is very much over. Okay, that does nothing. Here's Snowman. Pop the Cyber Dragon. Nice. Nice. Summon a monster. Game. GG. Damn. Indicud got fucking destroyed. Honestly deserved for bringing this dog shit build with creature swap and fucking chaos monsters. This is like the worst way to play agents. It's like, please brick. Please brick. Pretty much. Oh, I just realized it's double elim, so we gotta watch fucking losers bracket shit before we get to grands. I might just end the video here. I'll upload the grand finals in a separate video. In any case, smash like, subscribe. See you guys later. Peace.